Good Thursday afternoon, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and welcome to the I Love CVille Show. Thank you kindly for joining us live in Charlottesville, across Scottsville, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world, on the I Love CVille Network. We absolutely adore and love connecting with you guys through this platform. We love singing the praises of Charlottesville and Central Virginia. Many of you are wondering about us analyzing and dissecting the fallout in Charlottesville City Hall. We will do that tomorrow. Today is positive stuff. Tomorrow, Councilor Lloyd Snook and Bellamy Brown, the chairman of the Charlottesville Police Civilian Review Board. But we put that to a side for now. And Judah, can you go to the studio camera and let's welcome a cast of characters of epic proportions right here. Nancy Gill, Erik LaFontaine, and Earl Smith.
It's the knee crew.
I have a feeling this show is going to be a lot of positive information on Scottsville, a lot of laughs, and a lot of poignant perspective. Nancy, the show is yours. Introduce yourself to everybody.
I am Nancy Gill. I am known as the former mayor of Scottsville, and I intend to keep it that way. Love my town, all the businesses there, and I really love Jerry.
Oh, thank you, Nancy.
You're welcome.
The feeling is mutual. When we get together, there's some mischievous activity, there's some fun, and there's some dynamic talk show content. Danny Hastings is giving Erik LaFontaine props, and he's already saying, how's the new sink working out? Danny Hastings. We love you, Danny Hastings. Erik, the show is yours. Introduce yourself to everybody.
My name's Erik LaFontaine, the co-owner of the Ben Barbecue down in Scottsville, with the grand opening on Saturday, reopening, I should say. Moved into the Barefoot Country Store, and to Danny, that sink works great. Thank you for putting it in.
And this gentleman, the luscious locks look good. The beard looks good.
Is this my Ric Flair moment?
Yeah.
Let me put my glasses on.
Right? We love Earl Smith so much. Introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi, I'm Earl Smith, and I'm a cornucopia of fun.
Oh,
that was his words. That was for the bourbon that we got.
All right, so why don't we do this? We're going to start with a topic that means quite a bit to everybody in Scottsville, and it's the negligence that CenturyLink is providing.
Glad he said negligent. I was like, why are we talking about
lingerie? The poor service.
He tricked us.
How about this? I'll cut to the chase. The poor service.
Oh,
That
yes.
CenturyLink is offering. Nancy, the show is yours.
So, if you live within the town limits of Scottsville, CenturyLink is your friend. The minute you live outside of that, it is not your friend. So, a lot of people have actually paid $700 and I think up to $1,500 to have CenturyLink fiber connected to their homes. Now the thing is, they might have ordered it 6 to 8 months ago, and they're now just getting the connection or still waiting for the connection. So for residents outside of Scottsville, and I will reference that some residents in Scottsville have jumped ship and have gone to Nelson Cable. Also, Nelson Cable has fiber optics in Scottsville.
So we have a lot of providers.
We are working on it. We
We
have
have some providers.
we have fiber all around us, but it's not accessible.
What do you think, Aaron?
You're being too kind.
Yeah.
I'm getting there.
Yeah.
I'm just warming up, Erik.
Fair enough. So luckily enough, the owner of the building where I'm at now, she put in fiber for our building. So we're lucky enough to have that for our business. But our home is another.
So, and this is what's interesting with that, Erik, in the town of Scottsville. I have DSL.
Right.
I am not eligible for CenturyLink fiber because I am a resident. That's only good for the businesses.
Yep.
You are getting love, Erik LaFontaine from Missouri, from Kiana Moni. Sending Erik love from Missouri. In fact, you guys have 5 states watching you on the program. Neil Williamson, Free Enterprise Forum. We love you, Neil Williamson. Earl Smith, the show is yours. I will follow your lead on 99.9999% of things. Where do you want to go on this topic?
Well, CenturyLink has been having this issues back when
Years.
Nancy
Years.
Ditmar, Jane
Jane
Ditmar.
Ditmar.
Yep.
Yes.
So, I mean, that you're talking 2014 is when,
Oh, yeah.
13, 14, right after Chris Tumler left.
Yep.
So it just progressed.
Wait, are you saying Chris would have fixed the problems?
No, I'm not.
We don't want to go in that direction.
I don't think we need to go. I don't think we want Chris fixing anything.
Anyway.
Lord.
I have
So,
to
but
say
that,
it.
I mean, when, it's like Jane, I guess they had got $75,000 or something, and I'm going, that's not going to fix anything. And my father, before he passed away, he had worked at a phone company for over 46 years, and he'd actually, I'd worked over here at the downtown office, putting in D-slams and all that when we changed over to mainframe, and I was a contractor for him. And so that was what he was in charge of, was all the contractors putting in the fiber, because normal people didn't get it. Was only businesses that got it.
Yep.
So but now we progressed all the way to here. It was like last year when we started school, and we were all virtual because of the coronavirus. The first 2 weeks, nobody in Woodridge and Scottsville had any.
They had to go to hotspots and download material.
And so
SMOT too.
right. So you've got a tremendous amount, and a lot of those cables, even like down James River Road when you're going towards Hatton Ferry, a lot of those cables are over 60, 70 years old. They even still have, when you open up the casing, is what they're called, it's the wire inside is actually paper that's wrapped around the copper. It's not plastic. So that's how old it, and so if anybody knows anything about signal, when you're like when we back in the fax days, or when we tried to log on in the internet and you're doing all that, one bit of
Like,
would mess it up and would start it over.
What was that called?
It was a dial-up.
Dial-up. Dial-up.
You can't use the phone while you're trying to get to the internet.
It was dial-up. So anytime you would be doing things, this is when I was a kid. Anything I was doing stuff online that I wasn't supposed to, my parents could
pick
not.
up the phone.
Yeah, they'd pick up the phone right there. So we have a lot of comments coming in. Nancy, I'm going to pass the show over here to you. Before I do, we'll welcome Vanessa Parkhill to the broadcast, Patricia Venegas to the broadcast, Florence Worley via the Daily Progress, NBC 29 and CBS 19. Amy says hello from Danny Hastings to you.
Hi.
If you
She
guys
got the
want
best smile.
she has a great smile. She does. Steve Rickman says, "Tell it like it is, Earl."
Steve, I saw you bought a Harley out in Orange. I saw that.
Grayson puts on the feed, guys. I would love to hear the 5 most important topics or storylines that are impacting Scottsville today. We will get to that. Before we do, Nancy Gill, anywhere you want to go,
Okay, so let's continue with CenturyLink.
please.
On September the 20th,
Yep. Oh yeah.
Matt Lawless, our administrator, and Donna Price.
Town manager, supervisor.
Yes,
Yep.
and they have invited the 2 local representatives from CenturyLink to come to the Scottsville Town Council meeting at 7 o'clock, September the 20th, and we'll see if the 2 invited CenturyLink representatives show up.
Isn't Mr. Culp supposed to be there too?
Mike Culp will be there as well. So I'm putting that out there, and I think it's going to be a very
Is that
exciting.
the new owners that are supposed to come? The new company?
No, it's still CenturyLink local,
Okay.
but try to explain these things. We still have in Scottsville people who have been without internet service since the storm came through back, I don't know,
That was
in
5 weeks ago.
Anyway,
4 or 5 weeks ago. Something
and
like that.
And what did you sent me a thing saying, why don't we ask them about some kind of money or something?
Okay, so, and Donna gave me that information.
Okay.
So there's, through the Virginia Department of Housing and Community Development, there's a program called VATI, Virginia Technical Initiative. And they have been giving municipalities grants. CenturyLink has received funding from these grants. It started back in 2017. Not that much money, but now it's inching up to substantial amounts of money. I don't have all the ins and outs on this new county initiative with other stakeholders called RISE. I don't even remember what RISE stands for. If Donna is out there,
I
she
just
could.
tagged her.
Okay, good. She
I think
could.
she's on vacation. She's
She
traveling
is.
right
She
now.
is on vacation. I believe in the state of Maine. Anyway, but things are starting to happen in Scottsville. What bothers me the most is not that able-bodied people don't have internet through CenturyLink. It's those that rely on telemedicine. And there are a few of them down there. So
You're talking about the landline folks.
I'm talking landline and
Right.
internet.
Because there was a post a couple days ago on the Scottsville page about a 98-year-old woman who had a family member that has no phone service
Exactly.
whatsoever.
And no phone service, no internet, nothing.
Yep.
And she is...
And probably limited cell phone usage.
Yep.
You know?
when the battery runs out, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is just outside the town limits of Scottsville.
Right.
So I'm leaving it there.
Eric, jump in here. What's on the mind here?
Oh, lots on the mind. CenturyLink is a whole different kind of animal. I have family that lives on Mount Vista Road. That was hit extremely hard by the microburst. They have had no cell phone service, no phone service and no internet for going upwards of 6 weeks. Then the young lady that lives in the house actually received an email from CenturyLink saying, "Oh, we now recognize the outage." Because they've been calling them saying that we have an outage on Mountain Vista. Like, oh no, it's in full service. 4 weeks later after the storm, they actually get an email saying, "We're sorry, we apologize. We now are recognizing the outage on this property and this road," which affects how many people outside of Scottsville, that area?
I'm not sure.
It is a crazy amount.
72.
72.
But hopefully on the 20th, I'd be able to make the meeting because I do have a long strand of emails between Mr. Culp and the CenturyLink representatives, and see if there's something that can be done not only for Scottsville but for Esmont area as well, because a lot of people up that way don't have service or very, very limited service.
Sketchy.
Right.
Brian says, don't forget us in Fluvanna.
Fluvanna too. Yeah, Fluvanna and Buckingham also.
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll highlight some folks watching, and then I'm going to throw the show to you on this topic right here. I tagged the Supervisor Price on the feed. Connie says, "Keep it real. You go, Earl. You go. You got the News at Advance on the feed right now. Stephen Kuzo, Greg Martz watching the program as we speak. John Signoretti. ISP companies have a heartbeat that would ping someone's modem to determine outages. Why is it someone being assigned to monitor these heartbeats? Wayne Prophet, not just a problem in Scottsville. My uncle lives in Cash Corner and has had no CenturyLink for the past 3 weeks and was told they would have a repairman there September 14th. Jay-Z Kirby says, Earl Smith, it's great to see you on this show, making me miss my home. Greetings from Florida, the Sunshine State."
He's fibbing.
He moved to Florida. He sold everything and moved to Florida.
Moved to Florida?
Oh yeah, he's living in Florida right now.
He's in Florida.
We miss you, John.
Anywhere you want to go, Earl.
It's just a problem that just keeps getting worse, and it's the mismanagement of, they take your money every month.
Yep.
Pay $40. And like Nancy said, I think Daryl Hammond and them live up on Beals Lane, and there's 12 of them, and I've talked to the contractor that installed all that stuff, and it's been 9 months.
See?
Yeah. And you're talking about people, like she said, who have paid anywhere from $300 to $900, depending on how far it had to go for the wire or if they had to bore the road.
Yep.
And the contractor that put it all in, he goes, it's just rolled up at the house and rolled up at the switch.
Yeah.
And it's been there 9 months. I think I told you last time when I was here, at Wineworks, they put in a dedicated line. I found out about it. I said, can I just tap into that? It's 800 feet from my house. Mm-hmm. Alan Powell from S&N Communications said, I'll just give you the machine and give you the wire, because that's what he does. It's nice to know people.
I mean, they ran one all the way down to Yancey Community Center.
So it took me 8 months of filing FCC and SCC complaints to finally get somebody from CenturyLink, and I will take up for her. She has to go from here all the way to Abington. She's the engineer so she's taking care of an incredible amount of area. So we look at it, and she goes, you can tap into that. It took her 3 months to get me a price back. It was $1,500 with me supplying everything. And then they said, well, once you buy the multiplex and you do all this stuff and you get it tapped on, all the neighbors can buy from it. So why don't you go talk to them and all y'all chip in? I called her bluff. I said, here's $1,500, got it in my pocket.
And?
When can I get it put in next month? I'll pay for it.
And?
Right? No, I can't give you an install date. I'm like, so
what's the point?
I said, what business person would want to give you, or anybody?
Nobody.
I'm like, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then come to find out, then talking to the technicians, like I have a 6-pair runs to my house, so I get 20 pretty good.
Lucky.
But now my 6-pairs burn up, and then he's saying it's not your actual pairing, it's going from where the NID box is, the pedestal, out to 20. They need to bury a new line. So I called about that. That whole line is burned up. So that's why my parents' landline went bad.
Yep. It's the same way out in Esmont. That whole box needs to be replaced.
Right.
But they won't do it.
And see, that's what happened. I think I was just talking to Cole Sandridge. He lives out in Ivy out there. And he said they just brought fiber down his road, but when the original road, it's like Broadnax Road. Mm-hmm. They only had a 50 pair, and when I say 50 pair, that's the wires that's inside the casing, and you have pairs. So like it's blue, orange, green, brown, slate is what the colors are. So you have like a blue, white, brown, white. So imagine that's 50 of those. That's all the wires in there. So if one wire gets burnt, that pair gets burned up, got to go to the next pair. Nancy, I can't get you on this. I'm gonna have to move you to this pair. And what if that's burned up? So that's why they replaced all that wiring down that road, so they put fiber in.
You got the Progress watching you, CBS 19 and NBC 29 on the show.
The
here.
Maverick is talking to the problem.
This is a topic that needs to be in the news cycle. Let's keep this in the news cycle as much as possible. Barbara Lundgren, one of the best events and wedding planners in Central Virginia, says that it's absolutely shameful what they're doing.
It is for being in one of the richest counties in the whole state of Virginia, besides
the northern end of the county.
Yes. But it's just ridiculous that in this age that any of us have to put up with it.
So when did they start using fiber optic cable? When?
Is this a trick question? I don't know.
No, there is an answer. There is an answer to it. When did they start installing for major corporations up and down the East Coast?
Tell us, Nancy.
2000?
The mid-1980s.
Wow.
Huh?
Williams Communication
Yes.
buried fiber all along because they also own the gas line, Transco, which starts in Texas, goes all the way to New York City. 10,000 miles of fiber have been laid, goes right south of Scottsville through Buckingham, Fluvanna, out to Transco Road in Fluvanna, where they have, a former employee told me, the fiber building. It's only for business. CenturyLink bought it
Of course they did.
from Level 3 Communications. They bought it from Williams Communications. And now I think it's with CenturyLink, Lumen, Apollo, I don't know. So fiber optics is not new.
No.
And I don't understand why.
Especially with all the grants that CenturyLink, they had one back in 2015 from the federal government, which they didn't complete the contract on time, so the federal government forced them to pay back the amount. Then the Virginia State just got, and Albemarle County just got funds from Virginia State for expansion of broadband, giving it to CenturyLink before they sold out to Apollo. So I don't know where. Well, right in that transition, almost.
So I have faith in Nelson Cable with Firefly. And Firefly is actually, so there's a consortium coming up with the newest level of VATI funding, or VATI, okay. And it's a total of about $47 million, but the county's part is like $4 million. And then the state kicks in some, and then the It's Firefly, which is CVEC. Gosh, I don't remember everyone involved in it, but there's a consortium that have now applied to the state for this funding. I did not see CenturyLink or Lumen's name on it, which I think is a positive thing.
Yes.
Yep.
You're getting props from Mark Busco, Gina Moyer. We love Earl. Speak Up, my long-term
You can't say an
family friend.
Italian's name incorrectly.
Oh, is it
Bosco.
Oh,
Bosco.
Mark Bosco.
Like the food you eat. Bosco.
Mark Bosco. Barbara says you're a wealth of knowledge. Guys, the TV stations and the newspapers that are watching here cover this story. We should keep this in the news cycle. Please keep it going on. Here's an interesting comment that's coming in on Eric's page, and it's from Stephen, is it Cuso?
Kuzo, yeah.
Kuzo.
Okay. Just want to make sure that's another Italian name, right? Is it Italian name?
It could be. I don't know.
He says, it took me 3.5 weeks to get CenturyLink to my house in, is it Verona?
Verona, yeah.
Verona, to fix my landline that they installed 1 year ago. When a tech showed up yesterday, he got my dial tone back, but said it would take 2 hours to get rid of the buzzing, and he didn't have that time. Said to give it 2 weeks and call back about a noise complaint, but he did give me his direct work number in case we lose the dial tone again, and that's Olivia who left that comment.
Yep. Yeah, so it's kind of exactly like one of the new plant shops in Scottsville, We Grow.
Yeah.
Deja is actually a art teacher here in Charlottesville, and she owns a wonderful, wonderful plant shop down in Scottsville. Her landline does not work, and it gets a watery sound every time you call to it, or it goes to busy tone. She hasn't had a chance to have CenturyLink doesn't come out and fix it.
So is this at her home or at the
No,
shop?
at the shop.
At the shop.
Downtown.
I said water.
Yeah.
She also got flooded out.
She did get this was before the flood, too.
Yes.
So it's interesting to see it's residential and commercial to both extents.
Jennifer has this comment. She says, we've been talking about this for years. Do we have any idea when we're finally going to get it resolved?
No.
When Elon Musk takes over the world?
Well, I mean,
Earl, any comments on this?
I'm with her. It's like I looked into Starlink, but now what's his name? Mr. Amazon package man filed an injunction against him because he's going to make too much money or
Is that
be too.
Bezos?
Yeah.
Whatever his name is.
and there's a couple towers that were put up near the Orchard that might be able to do satellite out towards Scottsville. My dad's actually looking into a couple.
Oh, there's a company called Beam.
Beam.
B-E-A-M.
Yeah,
Beam. I heard
Yes.
if you're in sight of Carter Mountain, you're all right.
Yeah.
Right.
Wasn't that old CFW back in the? Remember, you had to get that funny 12 or
Yep.
15 foot. And it was like a little like you're in a bad spy movie,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah.
Philip Dow's got a comment for you guys. FYI, I live on, is it Antioch Road?
Antioch.
Antioch,
Road,
yep.
2 miles from Scottsville, and was told we would have Firefly broadband in 4 weeks.
So
Part of your
Firefly's
Phillips house.
been saying that for how long now, Nancy?
But they've moved everybody up because it was supposed to be a year out.
Yep. But it also depends on your power company too, doesn't it?
If you're with CVEC,
Yep.
Firefly is actually, CVEC is connecting broadband fiber to the box, so they can do that. But the Firefly is a secondary
Yep.
company that will be selling internet services. And it's good. It's like $50 for like a half a gig or something.
It's a good price.
So they just probably got together on the easement stuff and allowed them to.
But it also, like I was saying before, it all depends on your power company, because I called Appalachian, and Appalachian has a contract with them, but it's only for certain areas.
Right.
And where I live is not part of it. So SMOT is on basically the blacklist. You have Schuyler and Nelson, according to the rep I heard from Appalachian Power, that will be getting Firefly in the next 4 to 6 years. But SMOT, nowhere near that. Scottsville, it depends. They're working on Kids Dairy Road for the last year and a half. Antioch, 4 to 6 weeks, supposedly. So I guess it all depends on whose boot you put up somebody's butt and see where they go.
I like my boots on the floor.
I know you do. I knew you were going to say something funny right there. Alfredo is giving you some props.
Oh,
and your
yeah,
business
Alfredo.
props. He says Eric's barbecue is the absolute best. Had his brisket, blew ZZQ out of the water. The Ben Barbecue is where it's at. Alfredo, we love when you watch the program
What
here.
did he bring us? He brought jelly and jam and bourbon.
He did. He did.
Yeah, I mean, it's bourbon and barbecue go well together. I just pulled off 20 pork butts and
We don't
4
want to hear
briskets
about what
this
you just
morning.
pulled
so
off and ain't here.
next time I'll bring some. Come on.
We're going to talk about his ribbon cutting here on the show. And folks are asking, will Earl Smith be singing like he promised?
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, this bourbon has hurt my throat. I can't do it.
Oh no, bourbon helps your throat.
You don't know. Can you sing?
I cannot sing.
Jennifer is asking about storm recovery. We will get to storm recovery. Before we do, we should dot the I's and cross the T's on ISP. How about you, Nancy? Why don't you start?
All I know is I heard Earl say that the old wire is copper. I think there's money there when you go to,
That's a lot to pull up.
Yeah.
but
That's a lot of invasive pulling ground up, and then you have to
That's a
have
lot
the
of work.
EPA out there with your little orange things and where's the runoff going, and don't put that out there, Nancy. They're like kids.
oh, I'm so sorry, Earl.
Every car you borrow the backup's going to be good.
They are stealing the things underneath your car. I mean,
Yeah,
right. No. Oh, what is?
Everyone's
You got to
getting
fix
those
him.
stolen.
Catalytic,
Oh, okay. Thank you very
not
much, Earl.
Cadillac.
I did call it Cadillac right there.
No, my thing is keep bothering, calling, complaining.
Right?
I would say that's
Keep it.
what Eric did a really great job. He kept telling everybody, giving them the links to the FCC or the SCC.
And that was my fault. I put out everybody's phone number that everybody could call to
Right,
annoy
and
the heck out of them.
that's what you have to do. You just have to keep reminding people. And people are lazy. They'd rather complain about it than actually sit down and write an email. Don't write a diatribe. Just write down, my stuff don't work. Can you fix it? I'm turning you in.
Right.
It hasn't worked from this date to that date.
So the question, should broadband, fiber, internet be a utility?
Yeah.
And the problem is it's not regulated by the federal government.
Yep.
So should it be regulated by the federal government, just like Ma Bell used to be, and they made her break up, and hence we have the issues we're having today.
I think that what we've all fallen into is when Centel was here, and then it became Sprint, and then it started going downhill, and then it became CenturyLink. So you've got these companies that are buying off, and they're buying shares,
Yes.
but they don't want to invest. And then, like I said, 2 years ago, I noticed in how they let go of half their workforce, CenturyLink did. So you've got these guys that are trying to keep up, and they can't. You know, you went from having 40 people that did outside repair work to 12.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but that's how you fluff the books
And
for a sale.
Don't you love those windows will show up between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m.?
Right. But that's what, and then
On which day?
Right.
well, it's like my father got so frustrated. They used to have a dispatch system, so when you would call in back in the day,
yeah.
they would Jerry Miller go to Eric's house, and Jerry worked the whole area. He would have his own area, just like the police used to do.
Yep.
Well, then all of a sudden they decided to move that whole dispatch system to Rocky Mount, North Carolina, and they gave everybody computers because it makes you better, you know. So then they got Jerry. Jerry's used to working Esmont and Schuyler and all that. So next thing you know, Jerry gets an order. He has to go all the way up to Crozet or go to the BFE part of the county he ain't never been in. And next thing you know, he's get one back in Scottsville. And so he's driven 250, 300 miles in one day, and he can't get before tickets done.
Right.
Whereas before, he would do 12 or 15, knew everybody there, you know, knew that if you two lived on the street and he had bad service, he would go, hey, let me fix it. Let me find the ground, or let me find what's wrong. And that was something else they changed too back then. They changed, all the techs had voltometers. They were analog. They the old school ones. They weren't the new digital ones. You cannot find when you go to a ped box and you clip onto a pair. The digital ones are so sensitive they won't read a ground problem or anything. You have to have an analog. And my dad, you know, he was in charge of that. He told his second level upstairs. He made all the guys put them in a box. He took them upstairs and dumped them in the floor. He said, these ain't piece of shit. I gave my ones back, the analog ones back to the guys, told them to keep it. You know, but that's how my dad was. He says, you want results, this is what you have to do.
I mean, lucky if you call somebody, if you had dispatch back in the day, you can't even find anybody on the East Coast.
Well, that's what it goes. It literally. I don't know if it goes Rocky Mountain anymore. But I remember when they switched that. They gave them all these brand new computers that kept, and they didn't pick up. But that's when it started changing back then. When it was Sprint, actually.
Janice Trevelyan. I live in Louisa near Zion's Crossroads. Have CenturyLink as well. No date for Firefly. That's from Janice Trevelyan. Carol Thorpe. Earl. This request is from Carol Thorpe, the unofficial First Lady of Karaoke in Charlottesville. As named by the late, great Steve Miller, may he rest in peace. You got to give the people what they want, brother. You better be singing today, brother. And she says, Jerry, Earl, and I go back to singing together during the days at the Firehouse, Wolfies, and Boudreaux's. Just to name a few. Tim Carr, Claudia Carr, we have had no phone or internet since July 28th.
See, and and they should. I mean, they're right off Route 6.
And
I think
he's been, part of the fire department for
I know.
God knows how long?
I am sorry to hear this. I'm literally saying this. I'm sorry to hear this. I mean, not having phone or internet since July 28th, that's over a month. That's dangerous.
Yeah, and he's part of the fire department for years and years on end, and he's done a ton for Scottsville. And for what no service for 6 weeks going on.
How long did it take them? I called and complained so much about because when you would drive from Scottsville all the way to town and all the trees that were pulling the lines down where you could grab them.
Yep.
And I got people who kept saying, turn them in, turn them in, turn them in. Finally, they sent the crew out there and got them
or whatever.
Yeah, that was like a year ago or something. But I mean, it stayed like that for 2 years?
Oh, yeah.
These trees just down and pulling the lines down?
Yep.
John Signority says, watch it, Earl. I'm a 30-year IT professional. Computers make you better. He's giving you a little zinger right there.
Yeah, he is.
Folks, why don't people are asking about storm damage. And how long we're going to have to deal with the damage from these storms and why it hasn't been fixed. I have multiple comments on the feed about that. Do you want to touch on this?
So I can tell you there is one business in Scottsville. Young fellow purchased a building and knew that certain things had to be done, but it's a building that needed major repairs. And what happened was his roof got torn up, major water damage. He was just in the process of starting to renovate the second floor, and the business on the first floor had to move. That's how bad the damage
business,
was.
Wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
the original post office from.
Yes.
Yep.
And
Was that where they finally moved? They let them go?
no, they actually moved to the ABC store.
Yeah, the old
Okay.
ABC store.
temporarily.
But where
good-
they were was the
right.
original post office.
Yes.
We were all watching that, and I'm going, they didn't want them to go in the whole Family Dollar, wouldn't even rent it. I'm going, because we're selling the building. I'm like, what has that got to do with letting somebody stay there 3 or 4 months?
Right.
It's not hurting you.
Right.
You know, is the power on? Is the water on? Yeah, okay, then what's the problem?
Right.
But that in the town of Scottsville, I think, was the most major damage
Yeah.
from that storm.
That was the old firearms and fishing supply.
Coleman's.
Yeah,
Coleman's.
Yep.
Yes.
That was Coleman's.
Emily Wheeler, there's still a tree pulling a line down between Carter's Bridge and Red Hill Road.
Oh, yeah, that's been like that for
Yep.
quite a while.
So why are we in this position where we're still trying to recover from storms that have been weeks?
You
if
don't
not
have enough
longer?
people to work, and you don't have the equipment. And
Yeah. And we're also, sorry, Earl, but we're the redheaded stepchild of the county.
well, I've always said, I said that when I ran, and I
Yep.
said that back when I had Boudreaux's, and then what's her name that used to run? What was her name? See, I can't even remember her.
You can blame the
What
bourbon
did she
if you want.
run?
She was on the board of supervisors back in the day, and
Was
what's
this
her-
Jane?
No, not
No.
Jane
No, it
Dittmar. Was the way earlier than that when they were expanding 29, like when 29 went from 2 lanes on each side to
Oh, the
out.
4?
Yeah, back in 98, 2000. God,
before
what was
my
her
time.
name? Sarah Tom. Is that it? Sarah Thomas?
Sally Thomas.
Sally Thomas.
Sally,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Oh!
He sang!
There you go, all right.
He's going to sing today, guys. He is going to sing today. A lot of people want to hear you sing here.
Oh, okay.
Pull out some Motorhead, you'd be good.
Motorhead?
Yeah.
Do we have any idea from a timeline? I mean, is it just wait and see?
That's
So VDOT has come through, and they've cleaned up everything. It took them from, I believe, 11 o'clock the night of the storm to 8 o'clock the next morning, just clearing James River Road from Mountain Vista back toward Hatton
I would say
Ferry.
Appalachian did a heck of a job too.
Yes. Yeah,
they
Getting
did.
everybody
They
back
really-
on. I was very surprised with them. They've come a long way. So
What do you think, Eric?
Yeah, Appalachian did a great job. VDOT did an amazing
Yep,
job. But I mean, some of those backcountry roads are so hard to get to and
Yes.
so hard to fix because it's basically, it's almost like a one car roadway with some of those back roads. So it's hard to get some of those big vehicles back there and clear up everything. But like some of the major highways, like 26, they should be easy to clear up. We had MTS come down and clear up a lot of 6.
Well, 6 was closed down
Yeah, for a while.
for like 6 to 8 hours.
Yep.
Just cleaning up the damage, the
Yep.
trees that were there from the fire department all the way down to the rescue squad.
Yep.
I mean, it was shut down.
It was. You can still see some big
when you
old trees down in hardwoods and stuff like that.
that's like me and Eric falling down and you trying to get us out. Of the way.
yeah,
If you guys fell down the beach, and Nancy trying to get you up, we'd have a hard time. We would have
I think we're just going to go back over there and have a
Right.
bourbon.
So, this is from Jackson Sherling. This is an interesting comment. Would we be better off dissolving our town status?
No.
no.
Why don't we go down this road? Hit this topic. Want to start?
Sure. Once you dissolve Scottsville town status, you run the risk of becoming a crozet, because then the county has control of your zoning, not the town.
That's exactly what. Yeah, my thought was going to be because it's and plus, I mean, you can't really get rid of Scottsville for being the original seat of Albemarle County.
Exactly.
So once you dissolve that, you get not only the county coming in, but you get rid of the history too. So once you dissolve the
Don't
town
say that.
status,
You can't say that.
I can't say that. Sorry, but
Yes, you can. I'm just I mean, an ass.
but you get rid of the mentality of we were the original seat of Albemarle County. So dissolving that town status would not do any good.
Thoughts, Earl?
I agree with them. It's
I wish that Keene and Esmont would become towns, but I guess they can't
well,
for
wasn't
whatever.
Esmont was never a town, though, was it? They had.
No.
I know
No,
SJ. I know
technically
SJ Boatwright was all. He used to tell me
Right,
that.
but
all.
they
Yeah.
had the opportunity back in the day, way back in the day, to become a town.
Yeah.
But my understanding, and I can be corrected on this, is the property owners, large plantation property owners, didn't want a town there because they would lose whatever control
Oh,
they
yeah.
may or may not have had.
Thoughts?
What she said.
I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think it's the same mindset from years ago. Which
Jackson adds, would we get more funding from Albemarle County if we did this?
dissolve the town? No. And then like Nancy said, it would be another crozet. It will, I mean, which is to some extent, not a bad thing, bringing in more businesses, but we don't want that insane explosion that crozet had.
Housing density?
Housing
I would
density.
think that some of the stuff that, just like the wizard thing that they used to do down and you can't do anymore. I think that's what the little eclectic nature of Scottsville, you just need to have more. That's like I said, like when we couldn't, we live in the area where Thomas Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence, but July 4th, the whole city of Charlottesville and Albemarle County is going, oh, who's going to pay for the fireworks? Oh, we can't have the fireworks. And I'm going,
We had to lead a GoFundMe here on this
but
set
in
for the fireworks.
that first year, and I think Dave Matthews stepped in and paid, and then
Yep.
Ray Cadell and a couple, and it was like, why are we even in that position?
Ray Cadell's watching the
Yeah.
show. He's watching the program.
So I mean, it's like, why wouldn't you have a whole week of celebration where people would come here and go to Scottsville and to Charlottesville and go to all the historical places we have and have fireworks almost every night. I mean, and I know this is going to make some people mad with their dogs and the PTSD, and I'm sorry about that, but it's like, if you know it's coming, then you can set up for it. That's the other thing. It's like, if I have an animal that is extremely scared of the thunder and stuff, make them a thunder hut. Those thunder shirts.
Give them some CBD.
Yeah, but you just have to really find them a safe place, and you go to Crutchfield and get some of the thick foam that the kids put in their cars to make when you're sitting there trying to be at the light and you're going like that, and then suddenly you have to go poop because it's rattled you to death.
He's saying again.
Mass amounts of egg cartons would do the same thing too.
But you know what I'm saying? It's like, how come that? To me, that's what the supervisor should do. You're not there to. You're there to be the squeaky wheel of the district. You're there to be the advocate. You're there to when something is not right. You're there to go there and go, what are y'all doing? My people. And I don't care if somebody from Crozet or whomever goes, well, wait a minute, you can't be like that. Just push them back and go, I'm talking. You can't, you got to be the advocate for your district. Yeah.
John says, I have elderly parents in, is it Nahor Village? Am I saying that right?
Nahor, yeah, that's off 53 in Fluvanna.
And Lake Monticello.
Yep.
CenturyLink there isn't 100% reliable. When I run diagnostics on the line, once the signal hits the outskirts of Fluvanna County, the quality degrades 20%.
Yep.
Barbara says, keep Scottsville. Here's an interesting comment. Jerry, can you ask the roundtable what their thoughts are on the future of Scottsville from a 3 and 5 year perspective?
That's interesting.
You want to hit that first?
Look, all I can say.
What have you heard at the brewery?
Oh, do tell. During the pandemic, Scottsville lost, I think, one business, and it was due to personal stuff. We actually had businesses open. So obviously, we're the place people want to come to. So 3 years out, I would like to see, as we've discussed previously, more homes. I would like to see more businesses come in. And now that the brothers Sutton have purchased a lot of property in Scottsville, I can see that.
Taylor and Gordon, Tiger Fuel.
That's correct.
Yep.
I hope to see a forward movement in not just the business community, but also residential.
Thoughts, Eric?
What they're putting that station right across from BB&T. So hopefully that will definitely increase jobs, which will make people.
That's going to increase major revenue tax.
Major revenue.
Yeah.
Because they already took over Lucky's and they're starting
Right.
to change over Lucky's, which is the gas station right on the corner of Main Street. But the housing, it's cheaper to live out in Scottsville than it is in Charlottesville. Rental is a whole lot cheaper out there than it is in there and Charlottesville as well. I agree with Barbara that we do have to keep that feeling of Scottsville being Scottsville, but we do have to bring in more tourism as well, bring in that revenue for our town so we can actually help do repairs on the pavilion or on the roads or stuff like that. Like the Wizarding Fest that Earl brought up. I was talking to Kristen at Baines. Our idea is to, instead of doing a Wizarding Fest, do a Scottsville block party during that same time.
Yes.
Great idea.
So we can have all the businesses come out on the sidewalk and do, show what we have, bring in people during that same time we used to have the Wizarding Fest. I've already started the progress on getting the Highland Games up and going. I've already talked to County Parks and Rec. I am working on that. I'm talking to Matt Lawless about that as well, and the Chamber of Commerce also. So to bring in ideas like that and get stuff up and going, just to bring people in to show that what we have in the history in Scottsville, because we've had presidents come down from years past to stay down there. The old post office building was donated by Lyndon B. Johnson, has a plaque right inside. There was a couple presidents that used to have hunting cabins down in Scottsville area.
Theodore Roosevelt,
Yep.
Pine Knot, just outside of Scottsville.
On
in
Coles
Keene.
Rolling Road.
Yep.
That's right.
So we have a lot of history that can bring in tourism and revenue that will either increase, it will definitely increase the tax revenue, help us build out buildings, empty lots. The one thing we need to do is we need to push some of these empty building owners to help out newer businesses to come in. I'm lucky enough that the lady who owns Barefoot worked with me and was able to let me come in and get me going. And hopefully that will bring in more revenue to
Yeah.
Scottsville. And
Larry Barnett has been instrumental in that.
Larry actually helped my parents out with the sporting goods store over 20 years ago.
You got a question coming in from Barbara. Do you
Mm-hmm.
guys have an official tourism group in the town of Scottsville?
We have events and tourism,
Mm-hmm.
and we have Stuart Munson, who does economic development, kind of cross-pollinates there, but
I don't think we have a dedicated board for it.
we don't, because we're all volunteers down there.
Yeah.
Those of us who
Yeah, we don't
serve
get
on
paid.
council, no,
Yeah.
no one gets paid.
No one gets paid
So,
for
Barbara, come on down.
Yeah.
She's fantastic. Wedding and event planner extraordinaire.
Yes.
Barbara Lugger, we love you on this program. Louise Hicks has got a question. She says, I heard Albemarle County is going to take over the fire department in Scottsville. Anything that they can offer?
That's the first I've heard.
Yeah, I know they took over the rescue squad, but I don't know about the fire department.
I think the fire department would be a little difficult,
Mm-hmm.
but then it's always been a rumor.
Mark has a funny comment here. Don't forget you have a dog, a wonderful dog available for adoption. We talked about that first time, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Prim, land hippo. She is she is with another foster right now, and they're really pushing her hard, and she's doing really well. She's a snuggle bug, buddy. I'm gonna tell you what. She's just an old lady snuggle bug.
That was a pity mix, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's a good segue to a song, Earl.
Oh, we're going to get Earl to sing, guys. I haven't forgotten about this. This comment comes in from Brian. Brian, we love when you watch the program. He says, we've gone 50 minutes and you guys haven't mentioned Dr. Hurt's name. His name comes up a lot in our interviews.
Oh, the old tire place.
You know, it's sometimes you just want to forget a person's name. You know?
It's kind of like beating a dead horse, honestly.
Yeah.
So what is really is it the asbestos in the building? Is this the old stuff? Is that why it can't be utilized, or just
My
the
take-
cleanup? I mean, that's what I'm.
Well,
I'm
no,
and that's
my-
a very serious question.
My take, and
That's a lot of
Jerry
big-
and I have discussed this,
Yeah.
is this guy loves to collect things.
Yeah.
He thinks everything is going to turn into multi-millions of dollars.
I ain't worried about him. I'm worried about the building.
But that's the issue.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
it?
it's full.
He's land banking.
He has actually had, I mean, really viable businesses have gone
Right.
to purchase that.
Didn't the
And
brewery go
he
up there at
will
one
not. Oh, he kicked them out. That's the
Yep.
day he bought it.
Yep.
But there have been businesses that have wanted to buy that, and and the town has worked effortlessly to bring him buyers, and he turns it down.
There was plans years ago to turn that into like a park and rec area to put cabins or tents right next to the river and stuff like
That
that.
was a long time
See,
ago.
That was-
now
yeah.
here I'm going to be the here's my liberal side coming out on this all this stuff. all right?
Okay.
It's
So
the
back-
long hair.
So no, but back in the day when I built the firehouse, I bought the firehouse right on Preston Avenue, and then Amy, I can't remember her last, but she had opened up Crystal Phonics recording studio there, and then you had the Splat House and all that, and then you had John and Kevin who owned the battery, not Batteries Plus, what is it, Central Battery. Well, we're sitting there, and then one day I'm looking outside, and I'm watching these guys bore holes in the ground with the big machinery. And because I worked for Miss Utility, I knew what they were doing. They were looking if they could build something on there. That they take that drill and go down there, 20, 30 feet, and they bring it back up, and they look at the cores. So I go out there, and I'm like, what are y'all doing? They're like, hey, Earl. I'm like, hey, what are they putting right here? Oh, we can't say. And that's when I went and talked to Hooja, and he was like, oh, you
Mayor
can.
of Charlottesville.
Yeah, he was planning. Maurice Cox was the mayor at that time.
Okay.
So, but long story short, that's when they wanted to build a 4-story building. They wanted to get Charlottesville building. So they wanted to put a 4-story building right there in the middle where Brown's Cleaners was and a gas station was. I think it was a Texaco or something back in the day.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So what they were doing, and then so Amy goes, I just spent $3 million in this recording studio. I'm not going to be sitting here
With people drilling.
with, you know.
Right.
So we went to the city council 4 or 5 times, and we eventually stopped them. But the whole point was that when I went there and was talking to Maurice Cox, I said, there's places in Charlottesville that I grew up here, 10th Street, you still couldn't go down through there. That my mother used to work right there, used to be Sheer Power right there that Lois Roach owned before you go down, what is it, Brown, what's the street now, but it's 10th Street where it goes.
Roosevelt Brown?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that was blocked off right there, But you right where the Pontiac dealership and all that you had, and down on Cherry Avenue, that big place it used to be. I'm like, why can't you get these owners to build on these empty lots? Well, you just can't make people do it. I said, you know what? Here, empty lot tax now. You know? But then I said, but you can't force people, but you can come and, Jerry, you own that lot. Here's 6 developers that want to develop. It's going to put money in your pocket. You have to give them a solution. But if they don't want to play ball, guess what? We just 10 times your tax on that because that's costing the town revenue.
We've been down that road, and because
Well,
we're
do
a
it
town,
again.
well, we can't because the county gets all of our property revenue.
Yeah.
And
Your top tax revenue source is meals tax, right?
yes, it is.
So let's make Ben Barbecue blow up, guys.
Yes.
Because that's good for Scottsville.
It is. I mean, we're getting, well, we have myself, the Tavern, the Bateau, Amici's, Love and Oven, and Subway,
And
We have
Beijing Kitchen.
Beijing Kitchen. So we have quite a bit of food tax revenue coming in.
And Lucky's sells a lot of stuff.
Lucky's,
too, yeah.
definitely Lucky's.
And when the market,
with the market
is
coming
up
in,
and running,
that would be a lot
we
of food tax
we
revenue.
get things from Food
Oh,
Lion.
and can't forget Lumpkins.
Yeah.
And
Lumpkins.
Lumpkins.
Can't
Forget Lumpkins.
Right here.
Yep,
Someone said
Lumpkins.
you need to take the rooster from Lumpkins, Earl Smith.
What? Leave that roost alone.
How about this one? And this one should go to Nancy to start here. Asking about the job town manager Matt Lawless is doing.
I think Matt is doing a tremendous job. He's under a lot of pressure. He's bringing a lot to town that we have never had before. Whether it's him going out into the other communities with meetings and making Scottsville known, he puts a good face on the town, but he brings in grants that we never even thought of doing. So he's got connections on the state and the local level that we've never had in an administrator before. So I think he's doing a great job, and I know he's working more than 40 hours a week.
What do you think, Erik?
I completely agree. So anytime I have a question, I can shoot him an email, or I can walk into town hall and talk to him for an hour if I wanted to. He's worked with me multiple times.
More than 40 hours a week.
Yeah. He's worked with me multiple times on what I want to do with the restaurant and other things and ideas that we have up and coming for Scottsville. He brings a ton into town. He has improved since the first year he's gotten into Scottsville and brought a lot. And he's willing to work with just about anybody. I had people down with me working, looking at another building, and we were talking about getting grants to improve plumbing. It's like, yeah, I'll help you out. I'll do whatever I need to get another business in here to help you out to improve the plumbing, improve the building. He's doing an amazing job. He will work with just about anybody.
And he and actually Thomas Unsworth, the town
Yes.
clerk, are responsible for getting us DMV Select.
Yes, yep.
And they're
Those are
doing a
great moves.
great job.
It's a
So-
great move.
Why do you think it's a great move?
Well, just those work way better. I mean, and what kind of BS was it when even during the pandemic that the state couldn't turn around and go, wow, Nancy's stuff is running out. How come she couldn't go online
And fix it.
and they just extend, whether sure, we're just going to extend it for 6 months or a year. We don't know how long. So just let it do it. But for all of us to be subjected to that and running around with farm tag use on our cars, or 3 months out.
You got an extra one? I need one for the truck.
You know what? I roll on down the road.
motorcycle?
Huh?
How about the motorcycle?
What?
He's doing plowing with that. Leave him alone.
Dawn Dedamore, don't forget the new bakery coming, baked on the
That's
chain.
right.
Yes.
She puts this in the feed. So everyone, Matt's watching. Matt's doing a great job.
Yes, he
Yes,
is.
he is.
Fantastic. More comments coming in here, and if
Need
you
a
guys,
chili cook-off again and just
We do.
let's talk chili cook-off.
Well, I remember
Idea we could do it in the parking lot at my new spot.
we could. Well, the chili
why
cook-off is.
can't we do it behind the tavern and do it like in October, like chili for chili or something, or instead of worrying about
Yeah.
because it always got rained out in the beginning of May, or have two.
Well, the last one they had, Daryl Hammond and
Mike Hallahan,
and
they
Mike
put
Hallahan
it
did it
Valmont,
on
Right.
and it was raining, pouring.
He did it in the horse barn.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But I don't understand how come like I said, in the fall, why can't you have one in the fall there at the town?
We can now, since Scottsville has now that new ABC permit.
That's true, Matt. You're listening.
Yep. So you can have open container in in Scottsville now if you file for this permit. How many events we can do?
16.
Yep.
And it's perfect there at the farmer's market. Take over
Essentially
maybe.
a beer garden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Okay,
could
amazing.
really do
Dude,
it.
you got your food and you got your beer and you're good to go.
And Ben Barbecue.
Yep.
Food of choice right there.
And music.
And music, yep.
John says-
Earl should come down and play.
John says, has anyone thought to reach out to the residents to see what type of businesses they would like to see in Scottsville? We're doing this up here in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yes.
There are so many ideas that people want to have in Scottsville, but nobody takes the step to do it. Like when I took over Old Barefoot Country Store, people were saying, do the ice cream shack, ice cream shack, ice cream shack. Yeah, it's great. Scottsville does need an ice cream place, but it's only a select time of year that you can actually do ice cream.
Well, I don't know. When I worked at Country Blessings and those
oh,
kids
don't
were out
don't
there.
remind me about Country
You've
Blessings.
you've never been to Stanton or over there to Klein's, and it's snowing in the middle of
That's
February,
what
and
kids
people
want.
there are like 20 people in line waiting to get an
I
ice
mean,
cream.
They want ice cream.
If you look at the tourism in Scottsville during the winter,
Oh, that's
I
right.
would agree.
You
It would be
worked at
tough to
Country
have it
Blessings.
in Scottsville.
yes. But for me, that's a great business for a high schooler to have. You get an ice cream cart, you talk to a local restaurant to store your ice cream in their freezer. You can make money during the summer, especially setting up at either of the two
So you're
places.
still like a Chandler's in front of Tractor Supply.
Right.
Well, why can't we have our own ice cream place that like a Chaps, but it's not Chaps. It's someone comes in and they do their own ice cream in Scottsville.
You just got to find a kitchen that where the health department allows it to be rented out as a commissary, so they can do it.
Right.
You've been known to make ice cream.
I have.
Dr. Hose makes ice cream.
Taco House
See?
does
Good
make
ice
it.
cream.
Yeah, they do.
Christopher says, what kind of influence will Taylor and Gordon Sutton have on Scottsville?
Positive.
Yeah?
Yes.
You want to add?
I agree. I don't have anything negative to say.
They're great guys. Tiger Fuel, second generation owners, take care of their employees, committed to the community.
Yep.
Grew up in Eastern Albemarle County. These guys are A+ people. I would think they're going to have a very positive impact.
All their places are top notch.
Top
Yep.
notch.
Yep.
Food is good.
Food's good, great employees.
Great jobs.
Great jobs to keep
Is
everything
that the
clean.
same ones that own the one at Mill Creek?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mill
That
Creek.
then-
Yeah.
Yep.
Mill Creek,
Then that's a
Bel Air,
no-brainer.
Bel Air.
That's a no-brainer to
It's a
Mill.
no-brainer.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. And did they buy the shopping center?
They bought this shopping center
The
first.
Food Line Shopping Center.
They bought it just before the pandemic, which
Yep.
I was so happy because I was still the mayor, and I'm like, wow, this is such a great way to
That's in your term.
close out. And they wanted to put in a car wash, which is the number one.
How many
Business.
Years, how many years have we been asking for that?
At
There
least,
used to be one behind Lucky's.
yeah, at least
Yes.
30
Yep.
years. So when they came in with that, and the plans were there, and then boom, the pandemic hit. So I did not get to say, hey, folks, you got a car wash. But now what they did was they purchased property across from the Food Lion. And that's where they'll put their full
Where the White House is, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
the,
the old Coleman
full
House, yeah.
marketplace offerings. And
was
they
it? That was-
purchased a lot that had been on the market for quite a number of years across from Lumpkins. That backs up to where the Coleman property.
Oh, you mean Mr. So-and-so that doesn't, you ask him how much the property was, and he goes, well, if you got to ask me, you can't afford it.
That's another one. That's
My good friend Barry
Childress.
Chisholm's father, yes. He
Yeah,
owns
that's
who it is.
Childress.
Barry go, I'm sorry for my daddy.
But I mean, going back to the shopping center, there is how many empty storefronts, and then the outlets going out now.
But that's okay. I think they have plans, which I
Yeah.
don't know what they are, but I think there are a couple of guys that always have a plan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. And they have the cash resources.
Yes.
To make the plan a reality. You're getting props on your pig roast. We're going to get to your grand opening here. We're going to get Earl Smith singing
They
to
need
close
another-
the program.
They need another brewery down there, because that would help James River,
Oh yeah, definitely.
you know?
Rising tide is good for all ships.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it would crush another brewery down
If
there.
they put a brewery down in that shopping center, it would,
Ooh, that's a good idea.
would-
What do you
would
think?
fly.
There was a talk between me and a couple good friends looking an idea of doing a another brewery or a brew pub basically down there.
I'll help.
I should totally do that.
So it's an idea that's floating in the back of our minds right now.
You would love that.
I'm putting it on the
Enjoy
table.
that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'd be there on day one.
The idea that I shot to Matt Lawless and a couple other people is James River Inn.
Yes, it's in Buckingham
It's
County.
in Buckingham, but it's close enough to Scottsville. The owner's getting older; he can't keep up with it. It's up for sale for what, 1.5?
He's come down.
Yeah, he's come down, but it's 90 acres. 90 acres, riverfront.
Oh, it's beautiful. I've stayed there.
Yeah.
A brewery, bed and breakfast.
Whoa.
But we got to find the funds we got to find people who want to do it. Got to find people who want to put the brewery in. Got to find people who want to run it. There's all these ideas, but we need backing for it. So,
how about this question? Can Scottsville, and educate me, maybe it's through an economic development authority or office, can they incentivize the creation and launching of businesses, tax rebates, anything from town tax funds, or is that just not a reality?
I would say Matt could probably help if he's got that's what you got to find. You got that networking, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's if you can find somebody how to start, because that's what a lot of people falter. They just don't know how to start.
yeah.
Yep.
Or they don't know who to call or what. And if you've got that network,
Yeah.
first
person
person
connected
like the
is
Charlottesville
Matt.
Business Association here, when they do, they're great at helping you find stuff.
Yep.
So that's the biggest thing, I think, if you've got credible people.
What do you think, Nancy Gill?
I think Earl is right, and I'm going to say again, Matt has the knowledge, and he's part of that network.
Right.
Heather, Christine, I love our small town of Scottsville, and I would love more things for our kids to do around Scottsville.
So would I.
I mean, how old is your,
She's 3 months.
3 months old?
Yep.
So you're about to be in this.
I am.
He's already got her at the levee doing bear crawls up the hill.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I mean, we also, it's Scottsville, we have, baseball, softball, basketball,
Soccer.
There's a lot of outdoor activity if it's promoted, and our baseball is promoted, our soccer's promoted. There's a lot of things, but there's not, when it's storming or anything, there's nothing for kids to do inside.
That's correct.
Boys and Girls Club is overpacked. They have a waiting list. September 25th, Mr. Brooks up at Yancey's actually putting on something to show off what Yancey can provide. It's only 5 minutes away from Scottsville. They have a water park up there. They have Simpson Park. If you guys don't mind hopping in the car and driving 5-10 minutes away, there is things like
it's
that.
a fun day.
It's a fun day.
Yeah, and actually the Albemarle Police are a part of it.
Yep.
I think it's 1 to 4.
Yep. County Parks and Rec are a part of it as well. And in Schuyler, you have the quarry parks now.
That's right.
I mean, there are a few things to do, but just
And you
not
have
a
Van
lot.
Cleef Nature Area.
Van Cleef, yep.
You can always go fishing.
You need a license, but yes.
16 and under,
16
no.
and under, you don't. Yep.
It just means you have to shave.
Me
Me too.
Right? Gotta get rid of all of this.
You ain't passing, dog. You ain't passing for that. I love these people, guys. We're fortunate to have these folks singing Scottsville's praises. We'd love to highlight your podcast.
Okay, it is the James Exchange,
Right.
and you can actually get to it. I had to use the URL, the James River Exchange.
Very nice.
If you picture in your mind why I did that, if you just do the James Exchange, I could not go to town on that one. So it's, Erik got it. So it's the James River Exchange. I have a website, and it has to be thejamesriverexchange.com. If you want to know more about CenturyLink, this past Monday, Donna Price was actually the podcast. And
Nice.
we talked about all of this. Tomorrow, the current mayor and his granddaughter will be doing a little musical thing.
Oh, Ron and
Ron and Emma, and she's a violist of all things, and Ron plays the guitar, so they're tomorrow morning, and just building it out.
Jerry McGee, we love Ben Barbecue. The JamesExchange.com. Check out this podcast. I catch your podcast. You do a hell of a job. And as you've done more episodes, you've like blossomed even more as a broadcaster. You know, you've gotten like more confident. I love the interviews. I would love to see some hot take podcasts from you, where maybe you're not interviewing somebody, you're talking about a hot topic and you're giving your opinion, because you got some opinions.
Well, I want to do one because I'm installing a storm door.
Ooh.
And I want to talk about the directions that guys make.
Okay.
As we see, Earl and I are kind of quiet over here.
I would like to say prove it.
I will.
We got to talk about this gentleman's business, co-owns with his beautiful wife.
Yep.
Let us know what's going on Saturday.
So Saturday, we have coordinated a ribbon cutting with the Chamber of Commerce and the town of Scottsville. So we'll be, it's a grand reopening, moving into the new spot of the old Barefoot Country store. So yeah, I'm going to have smoker on site. It's going to be full menu. I'm sorry if we sell out. We sell out. I'm going to try to have as much barbecue as possible. I've already done 300 pounds of meat. Now I got another 120 pounds to go. And we're expanding our menu a little bit at a time, so hopefully the offerings will expand more. We have filed for our ABC license, so beer on and off. An open invite if you guys ever want to do a podcast down there. We got fiber, so come on down.
Very nice. You hear that, Judah? Very, very nice.
And I will feed you and give you drinks.
Oh,
so,
that's the way to my heart.
And the one good thing is that Matt has allowed me to build a cinder block whole hog pit in the gravel deck area, as long as I tear it up either that night or that the next day due to the floodplain. But we will be doing a whole hog roast once or twice a year and selling tickets. And the gentleman, Travis Maslin, who built my smoker, is building me another one, and also a cooking tree, as I call it, for the fire pit out back. Cool. So we'll be doing vegetables and everything over open fire.
Dude, you're going to boom.
Gonna try. Got a call from the rural Virginian. We're in the running for a certain place setting. The winners are coming out, I think, in October, Mrs. Rhodes said. So hopefully to see where I placed in that.
I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Wilson does as well.
Thanks, Wilson.
We love you, Wilson Ritchie, on the program.
Is it time for a song?
I saved it for last year. No. I think we're going to try to encourage, maybe strong arm Earl Smith to sing on the show.
I'll go get tequila if you need that.
We got a lot of people asking you to sing. And you did promise the first time.
You did.
That when you came back, you would sing. And we all know Earl Smith is a man of his word.
Ooh. Oh, he got you on that one,
I'm laying on thick right now, Earl Smith. Oh. You going to sing? You want to stand?
Okay, no, I don't need to stand.
Okay.
I'm a professional. Okay. I will do this, but I'm going to sing something.
Okay.
And I want everybody out here, and you're going to give away swag.
Oh.
So,
okay.
And you determine how many. I don't know if you can say one or 5 people, and you'll pick them.
Sure.
But if they tell you what band it is and what song it is.
Oh,
okay.
I know the band.
Okay, I will do that. You know what? I will do that. So you're going to sing a song.
I'm going to sing a song.
And if you guys can identify the song and name the band, and you put it in the feed before the show is over, we will hook them up with some shirts. We will cover the cost and mail it to them. We really will. They got it right there.
Swag.
There's going to be no shipping costs for them. We'll DM you and get your address and send you some shirts and some merch.
Okay.
Okay.
You ready?
Judah, are you ready?
Well, I'm searching for a feeling that's rolling in my veins. I'm on the inside. I want to get out. Oh, I need that cure. There ain't no doubt. Oh, and it feels so good. Up and down and in and out. Let's make this understood. Oh, 'cause I'm calling on you now, yeah. I've got that wicked sensation that's rolling all over me. I've got that wicked sensation. You know that's all I ever need when I get down on my knees, yeah.
Damn! Yeah! Let's give it to Earl! You have to get the sound machine on that.
There was way more people at the Jefferson than that.
Yeah, I know, right? Sorry about that. We need a little more umph on our props. You got some skills.
I was holding back.
You got some vocal cords. You want to go again?
No. I got to go to work.
Judah, did you not love that over there, Judah Wickower?
Judah's like, he is so loud.
He gave you the thumbs up. Judah loves some good music. You guys let us know in the feed what the song was and the band was. We will hook you up with some merch courtesy of I Love CVille. And I want to say this. These people right here are phenomenal. Every time they come here, we have a good time. Erik LaFontaine is the co-owner of the Ben Barbecue. This Saturday, let's make it standing room only on his grand reopening. Standing room only.
That would be
on
great.
his grand reopening. Nancy Gill, thejamesexchange.com.
The James River Exchange.com.
River Exchange.
Don't want to type another one, do you?
No.
The JamesRiverExchange.com.
went to
Support
one
her
site.
podcast. And what can you say about Earl Smith?
James is saying that like James Brown. He's like, hit it on the month.
Earl Smith, A+ people, just like Erik and Nancy. We try to highlight the best of Scottsville here on the program. I love you guys. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
It was a lot of fun.
Always fun.
We went 80 minutes today
Wow.
Oh, wow.
on the program, and it flies by. Thank you for the goodies.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime.
I cannot wait for your grand opening. You send us some food pics. We'll get them up on.
Well, you come down and
on
try
the edge.
some.
We will get down there as well. I'm going to bring my little 3-year-old as well.
Oh, yeah.
And my beautiful wife. Thank you for joining us on the I Love CVille show, guys. Earl Smith, Erik LaFontaine, Nancy Gill, Judah Wickower's our North Star. We talk Charlottesville, Central Virginia, Albemarle County, and Scottsville. We just keep it real. Just keep it real. You guys have a good afternoon. Thank you kindly for joining us today on a gorgeous Thursday to be above the mud. Take care.
Above the mud.
Good. Good. It's fun. So
Always fun.
Thank you, sir.